Welcome back, everyone. Time for a little tropical coverage. Dr. Nab back with us now to talk a little bit more about Tropical Storm Lane in particular. We've got a lot of activity out there, nothing particularly strong, but this is the one you're most concerned with.
Yeah, that one's going to be stronger really fast. Watch this one become a hurricane over the next day, I'm pretty sure, because it is sitting down in the deep tropics of the eastern Pacific. Wind shear's weak. Water's plenty warm. It's very well defined. The central dense overcast is starting to take shape. There's no eye yet, but wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow or certainly the next day we have one. In fact, a lot of the indicators for rapid intensification are really blinking bright red, right? And so the Hurricane Center, giving it the winds of 45 miles an hour, moving quickly west at 13. This is kind of like Hector, the way it started in the East Pacific. And here's the latest forecast track, and you'll see it relative to the Central Pacific and relative to Hawaii, out to 5 days. Here we go. Major hurricane getting into the Central Pacific. It's not 5 days away from Hawaii, but it might be a week away from Hawaii. And if we quickly look at the European model, just as an example, here comes Lane. I'm going to take this out one whole week. Here we go. About a week from now, it's at the longitude of the Big Island, and then the GFS model is just a little bit farther to the right. So again, the models don't agree, but this is certainly, like Hector, at least going to be something for the folks in Hawaii to watch very carefully. August is their time of year to get hurricanes.
It's close, so you can't discount it whatsoever, right? Especially with knowing that it could go up to a major hurricane, right? Mm-hmm. What issues do we have on Hawaii, though, especially when it comes to geography? Listen, we were created by volcanoes, right? Mm-hmm. So that's got to play a role.
Well, one of the most significant concerns in all of the state of Hawaii is the south shore of Oahu. Oahu, where Honolulu is, where Waikiki is, the most populous island. Almost 1 million people live there, and the worst hurricane hits, the strongest hurricanes are going to come from the south, and unfortunately, that's where the greatest population is, that's where the airport is, that's where downtown Honolulu is, that's where Pearl Harbor is, and very importantly for the state of Hawaii, not just for Oahu, but the whole state, that's where the port is. And so if a major hurricane coming up from the south would be so devastating due to the wind, the storm surge, and coastal inundation and the waves, and due to the impacts on the population.
All this would go underwater, yes?
Yeah, this reef runway would certainly go underwater, and this is very close to downtown, very close to the port, and very close to Pearl Harbor. So there's so many people and so much infrastructure in the way. Here's Pearl Harbor, and the opening to Pearl Harbor faces south. It's on the south side of the island. And just uphill from all of these infrastructure concerns right near the water are just thousands and thousands and thousands of people living up the slopes here. None of these people have been through a significant hurricane. None of these structures have been through one.
These are susceptible to wind, yes, but some heavy rain as well.
Oh my gosh,
the rain would be a huge concern.
Yeah, and the combination of rainfall-induced flooding and the storm surge, coastal inundation, the flooding concern would be astronomical, and you've got all those people, thousands of people always in Waikiki. So it's a big issue for the emergency managers there.
I would say, how then do you prepare for something like this in paradise, right? So what about a hurricane hit? Joining us now via Skype is John Bravender. He's the warning coordination meteorologist for the National Weather Service Honolulu. John, thanks for being with us. Dr. Nab just laid the case out for us there. How well prepared can Oahu be? How well prepared can Honolulu be?
He laid out some of the big concerns that we have here. The vast majority of all goods for the state pass through Honolulu Harbor, even going to the neighbor islands. One of the things that we emphasize during preparedness is the need to have food and medical supplies on hand. For here, being as remote as we are, we recommend 14 days worth of supplies.
John, in light of what happened in Puerto Rico with Maria, what have been the discussions between you and the emergency managers in recovering in a remote island location?
What we learned during Maria is emphasizes kind of what we're saying, everybody needing to have supplies on hand, and kind of almost validating some of the assumptions that we've made as far as what needs to be done, how long it would take to get relief out here. We're an island as well, and even more remote, so the transit time between the mainland and here would delay that relief work and the recovery effort even longer.
Do some things work for and against Hawaii? Against being, you sometimes have a lot of population there that's tourists, that are non-residents, but you also have a port there as well as a base. Does that allow you to get maybe supplies in quicker than you normally would otherwise?
The military Your presence here is a resource that we incorporate quite quickly into recovery efforts. So that's a definite positive to us. On the flip side, the great military presence that we have is also part of the community. So more people to take care of as well.
It's complicated, that's for sure. Listen, we're 2,500 miles away from the west coast of the United States, right? So it's a long way away. John, thank you very much. Always good to talk about these things, especially to your point, Dr. Knapp. After what happened last year with Maria in Puerto Rico, we've got to think about our islands and what we do with them.
But if you take out the airport and the port on the south side of Oahu, big issues.
Yeah. All right. Obviously, we'll continue to discuss it. And when we come back.